YouTube and welcome to this episode of the Gunman Raw. So today we are doing the masking and we're going to do the base coat on this Subaru here. It may look kind of familiar to some of you guys because if you've seen the review that I did on the Sada X5500 Future Edition, I actually painted the bonnet with this gun, but it was the bonnet off this car. So we were waiting on we were actually waiting on the insurance company to give us the okay or the thumbs up or the thumbs down on this repair here. And it turns out while we were waiting, we just painted, well, half of the parts. I actually tried painting this guard, but this guard had already been painted before and it fried up on me. So yeah, I just stopped and I said, no, I'll just seal it down with some primer and paint it with the body of the car. So either way, here we are. So I've got my new GoPro now. I mentioned that in one of the previous videos, and it turns out they've actually changed the file type. This is probably some boring shit that you guys don't really care about, but hey, there might be someone out there. But it turns out that it used to be like the file type was FAT4, so it used to break the files up into 4 gigabyte chunks, right? But they must have changed it or something now, because I can get 25 minutes. So the FAT4 used to mean that each clip was like 8 to 10 minutes or something like that, and now I can record for 25 minutes straight without actually having to put it into the editor. That's what it means. So hopefully I'll be able to do some more videos in the future on this channel, because it was getting to the point where I just didn't have much time for this channel. As I've said in the past, you know, I've been very busy on my Tirana lately, and I'm always going to prioritize my main channel. When I'm sitting down behind the computer doing editing, you know, asking the computer to do rendering work for me, I'm always going to prioritize my main channel. But yeah, so it's looking like I might actually be able to do more of these vids, because if it's just a case of getting home, putting the footage on the computer, uploading it, it's going to be a lot easier for me. So yeah, good news to the Gunman Raw fans. It proves why it was worth getting the new GoPro. I think for a while, like I went from the GoPro 3 to the GoPro 4, and then I skipped 5, 6, and 7, and then I went GoPro 8. So that was a really big step up. I skipped the 9, I got the 10, and then I got the 11. But I'm thinking, you know what? I might just start getting the yearly updates and then sell on, or, well, there was one guy who I was going to sell off my GoPro 8 to, but he went a bit quiet, so I might end up selling it off to one of you guys. My idea was, I mean, it's got the charging cradle or whatever you call that. It's got a couple of accessories. It's got like the head mount, it's got the hard case. I was going to sell it for like 70 bucks, and which is like $50 American. I know it's really, really cheap, but I kind of don't mind. And my idea was to cover the postage cost, just go buy yourself a Gunman shirt. So yeah, obviously I'm not offering that to anyone as of yet, but if anyone is interested, leave a comment or shoot me an email to thegunmanraw@gmail.com, and yeah, we might be able to figure something out. So before I did this job, I did this is like Monday morning as of making this vid, I had to do a quick door job, right? It was just a single door. I couldn't be bothered putting my air-fed mask on. You know, like we're working in obviously a ventilated paint room, and you kind of stand back like that. No overspray's coming near your eyes. But either way, my point being that I plugged the SATA jet in, and it was at like 2.8 bar, right? That SATA jet Future, because obviously the air fed usually takes air, right? And I'm like, you know what? I might leave it at 2.8 bar just for the first coat, just to get like a nice ultra thin coat down, because it was a Mazda. Like they got that very tight peel to it, and yeah, it handled that high pressure really well, and it just nailed down that first coat, ultra skinny, which is how you want to paint Stando Blue. Your first coat, you really do want it. Well, sorry, not Stando Blue, the Performance Pro Clear, that's what I've found. You want to get that first coat on as skinny as you can, and then minimal flash off time, if any, maybe a minute or two, which generally on a job like this, you do a double round and you're done, you know. So yeah, I'm going to use that Sada Future on this job again and crank that pressure up as high as I can on the first coat, and then down to 2 bar on the second coat, which is 29 psi. So what would 2.8 bar, that'd be about 40 psi, give or take, for you Americans watching. I had some guy like leave a comment, he's like, I don't know, he's American obviously, and he's like, I don't know about all this bar shit, you know. And I'm like, man, it's just a conversion. Like, it's just like, probably the majority of the world uses the metric system by now, you know. It's just you guys use, it's just, yeah, it's a pretty simple conversion. It's not that you have to trust it or not, it's just just a different, you know, it's like a different unit of measure, you know. Like, the funny thing about that is I bet you he says the word ton, because Americans like to say a ton, you know what I mean? It's like, oh yeah, that was, I don't know, I listen to a lot of American, and they do say a ton a fair bit. I'm pretty damn sure that's a metric way of weighing 1,000 kilograms. So, you know, Americans do use some metric. But yeah, I was told years ago that the reason that the Yanks didn't swap over to metric is because they had too much of their industry like relying on the imperial system, so they just stuck with it. Because obviously America's really big manufacturers. Either way, I'm just rambling on. Just chipping away on the Tirana. One of my mates said, Ray Bondarenko, from one of my mates from Perth, when I started on the job, he said, mate, family first, and it was very good advice. But yeah, you know, like whenever my daughter comes in and, you know, I'm working on the Tirana, I literally drop, unless I'm doing something that needs a bit more attention. But yeah, there's been multiple times when I'm just working away, my daughter comes in and asks a question, or she wants to play, I'm literally drop it, walk straight out, you know, because yeah, family's got to come first. And I also read a comment from another guy on one of my other videos saying, you know, how, I think it was a story about him, how when his kids were young, they always wanted to play with him, but he never had time because he was always at the shop, blah, blah, blah. And now they're old, they don't want to hang around with him, you know, so yeah, and I totally agree with that. Like, especially those younger years, you really want to spend it with the young ones, you know, with your family, your kids. But I'm doing that. So, and I guess the beauty of me doing that job at home is that, well, I'm at home. So, you know, you're not. Hey, there has been a couple of times when I've just had to say to the missus, look, I need, you know, when I've got a friend over and we're doing like big welding jobs or something like that, I've just got to say to her, hey, look, I need a few hours today, you know. I'll just give her $100 or $200 or whatever and say, hey, go take the kid and go out, you know, and that keeps them happy anyway. So yeah, kind of getting the best of both worlds with that little garage I've got. I tell you what, it's awesome. Improving the setup always too. Even just yesterday, just have a big clean up, put a new set of shelves in, and happy days, mate. I'm enjoying just little things like having a backyard now, you know. Because I was living in an apartment there for a year last year, and I'd never do that. Well, as I said in the last video, never is a big call, but the way I am now, I'd sooner move to my house in Bendigo, which I don't particularly like living in the country that much. I like the city life, but I'd sooner move to the country because I own a house up there. I'd sooner move up there before moving into a little dog box again. Alright, I reckon we're about ready for plastic. Got a couple of gloves in the back pocket there. I'm going to be putting my respirator on to do the Pretzel stage because it's a bit stinky. Fine line over there. That's actually a freebie, that quarter. I can even see it before I've done the masking, but I can even see it under the prep work, right? It's a dodgy blend someone's done through there, and it's a totally different color. So that flare and that is a different color. So I showed the boss, I said, what do you want to do, man? We either blend it, we make a second color, or we just don't worry about it. And he just said blend it. So tell you what, guys, I'm so happy working here. It's what I needed. And I know there's all these neckbeards out there who criticize me about, oh, he's moving shop again, blah, blah, blah. Well, mate, why do you even care? And if I'm not happy, man, I'm not hanging around. I'm just trying to find the place that's right for me. And you know what? I've been back in Melbourne for a year and a half, and this is my third shot. So it took me two shots to find that they weren't for me. Third shot was good. That's not the end of the world, man. So what? And why do you care? Like, why would you care? If I had a new job every month, why do you even care? I guess it's part and parcel of putting yourself out there, you know. You got to put yourself out there to criticism, but it still doesn't really make sense to me, like why these people seem to care so much. But, you know, people love a bit of drama, don't they? And bitching. Me, I just want to be left alone to do my job. That's what I love about this place. The other painter I work with is deaf, so no talking there. Two of the panel beaters here don't talk to you, and I mean, not in a bad way, like they don't hate you, but they just do their job and leave you alone. That's all I want, man. You know, if you got a question, they'll answer. They're not haters, but it's kind of good. You sit up there for a second. I'll leave the camera rolling, so. Hey, man. That's actually one funny thing, like, my daughter listens to all the American stuff on YouTube and that, and she's only 4 years old, and she says to my wife, she says, "Mommy," like with an American accent. It's so funny. I might have to move to America one day. I'd love to move to, like, what is it, South Carolina or Florida? Those kind of, you can see that dodgy blend through here. One of those states with like Second Amendment rights and freedom. Wouldn't that be cool? The Gunman. I'll be reviewing different kinds of guns. And hopefully I've got enough colour, because originally I didn't think that I was going to have to paint these two garnishes. I thought it was just tailgate, but we'll see how we go. It's easy to mix up more if I have to, because it's just a straight off the machine mix. That's when I usually put my headphones on and listen to music, but I'm
not going to do that. Sorry, I listen to podcasts and YouTube videos all day. It's awesome, man. You got to get yourself a pair of them, eh? YouTube Premium? You guys should be listening to the Gunman. Just kidding. So, obviously you can tell that I left the rest of the... I left these bits covered up because they didn't need wet on wet primer, but a couple of those parts did need it, so a couple of advantages to that is that can be drying when you're masking and you don't get any overspray from that onto your blends. Alright, so that's the blender. And you kind of got to be quick with this, I guess. You don't want this, that's one of the worst things you can have is have that blender drying as you're spraying. I'll go back down. I like to lower the pressure on the blend. I've been doing that for a while with very good results. Otherwise you end up, if you spray your blends at 2 bar, you've even got to be careful. So you can see that even 2 bar from all the way up here, you can get overspray. Oh, that might help, eh? Anyone who's used RPS has probably done that before. And then we do the drop spray. This is when you'll get your overspray. See, it's just starting to dry, but that's okay. Alright, next one. Sounds about right. That's at 1.9 bar now. And that's it, guys. That's how fast and easy it is. Drop coat. And that's done too. Onto the bumper. I reckon we might just have enough here, you know. And I like to break the bumpers up into 3 parts. So, one corner, and then do wet coat, drop coat all in one. You notice I've got the gun a little bit closer for the wet coat. Hold it back a little bit on the drop. I did get a little bit of mottle when I was painting the bonnet. Not quite as good as I usually get it, but it's alright. I should have probably slowed down or even done the double drop coat. But yeah, the review on this gun here was quite popular. One of my most popular videos of late, which is good. Good for me. Do that, bottom to top, top to bottom. I don't want to run out, but you sort of have to spray this base coat a certain way or it doesn't look right. If you don't go slow on that second coat, you're going to have a bad time. That's not going to be enough now. I need to double drop that, I can just tell. That's going to be muscly. Either way, I'm going to have to go and mix up some more colour, guys. It's going to be boring for you guys to sit back and watch me mix up colour, and I don't want to make this into 2 video clips because then it has to go into my video editor like I was mentioning before, so we're going to have to call that a video. Sorry, but that's the nature of the Raw channel. It's sort of a no-frills channel. Whatever happens, happens, and as I say, guys, all I'm gonna do, go out and mix up another couple of 100 mils of the colour, enough to do that, and the guard, and then I'll be back, and I'll put that colour on, and then I might do a separate clear video, but yeah, the time, I'm just looking at the time, and we're just about running out of time for the 25 minutes anyway, so hopefully you guys enjoyed watching this video. If you did, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. If you want to support the show, you can go and check out the link in the description where you can buy some Gunman merch. Till next time, get out there and paint some shit. Gunman out.